Hey there, welcome to Mark in the Park, the podcast. I'm your host, Mark Milow, speaker, storyteller, and healthcare advocate. And this is the place for personal reflections, stories about mindset, hobbies, and purpose. And a reminder that life doesn't stop at a diagnosis. In fact, often the real journey begins after. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Mark in the Park podcast. And guys, today, this is a very, very special episode. I am here with a wonderful guest that's going to actually interview me. So this is a little bit of a spin, a little bit of a flip on the norm. But I am delighted and happy to have Kara Voss with me today. Kara, thank you so much for joining. And I will let you tell our listeners who you are and give a little information.
First, I'm gonna just bypass that for a quick second. There's like a swoop on your t-shirt, and I'm a t-shirt girl. I make t-shirts. So, what are we wearing today?
It's one of my Parkinson shirts. There you go. So
that's lovely. Love it. Yeah, no, I make t-shirts for fun on the side. Snarky t-shirts, love it. So very good.
Nice.
My name's Kara, and I teach at a college. I live in Kansas, teach at a college, heavy into sports. And I'm actually almost done with getting my doctorate in performance psychology, which is really, I think, where you and I originally connected, through people, doctorate program. I'm kind of like a mental mindset coach, I guess I would say. I don't know. Is that accurate words?
That's pretty accurate. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and so I had my life coach on in a previous episode, and this dovetails very nicely into that. And I know in our interactions, you've been very positive and supportive, and so I really appreciate that. So I just thought this was a fun idea, and so I'm going to be interviewed. So with that, I have to turn the reins over, and I'm game. So here we go.
Okay. And I know you share your story, but we're going to get into some specifics and nuances. So can you tell us, how would you describe what first led you to seek even medical attention when you noticed something was wrong?
So, for the listeners that don't know, I was diagnosed with young onset Parkinson's in 2021, and my show does revolve around Parkinson's, but it's not about Parkinson's itself. That's very important to me because life is not just about my condition, right? And so, great question. It was in the COVID era of 2020 when, as a warehouse manager, I was walking around the warehouse carrying papers, and I don't have any papers around me, but my hand was shaking, and one of my employees was like, "Well, what you nervous?" And I was like, "No, it's just for whatever reason." And then when I was drive home, my hand was on the steering wheel, and my hand would shake a little bit on the steering wheel. So I thought, well, that's really weird. And so I went to go see my primary care physician in around March of 2020, and he said, "Well, I think you've got an essential tremor, which is something that's fairly common. Actually, the pastor of my old church used to have one, and so I was used to seeing him up on stage at the podium with his hand shaking. And that okay, I can live with that. That's not the worst thing in the world." And he said, "Just keep an eye on it, and if it gets worse or if anything else comes up, let me know." I said, "Okay." So that was like the first thing that led me to seek some medical attention was that tremor, and it was one of those things where it 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 made me curious. I would drive around like, why is my hand shaking? And I went into all these analytics, literally thinking like really weird thoughts, like, what if I didn't have a hand? Would my hand still shake? Yeah, it's like I could because I didn't know the source, right? Um, but then as time went on, I started to get other symptoms. I didn't recognize them as Parkinson's symptoms, but um, I would walk and my arm wouldn't swing. That's a condition called bradykinesia. And I would also not raise my left leg as high as the other one, and sometimes I would trip over stuff.
Always your left side?
Always
and leg?
always my left side. Yep,
Okay.
left arm and left leg. Um,
Are you left-handed?
no, I'm right-handed.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and this is good, because if you're
I'm left-handed. That's why
you are okay. So if we get together and we throw a ball around, you're going to be throwing the ball left-handed. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I'm ambidextrous. I throw right-handed. I write left-handed.
You're one of
I
those
can't
people,
throw. I can throw left-handed, but
right?
I darts. I play darts left-handed, but I throw right-handed.
Ambidextrous always blows my mind. Yeah, there you go.
Yep,
Well,
ambidextrous.
I
Okay, so 2020 to 2021, which means over a year before you got an actual clear diagnosis.
right, right, and so it was March when I saw my primary care physician the first time, and then after an episode in November, I had a condition, a situation with what's called rigidity. I was watching TV with my brother, sitting on the sofa, and my body completely locked up, and I couldn't get up from the sofa. That was when I said, I have to call the doctor. Now, being November of COVID year 2020, the first
Well,
appointment I could get was in excuse me, January of 21.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So that's when I went in to see him.
So, what was the most challenge? I mean, I hear lots of waiting,
Right.
and I don't know if waiting's the right term. It could be, I'm going to put this on a shelf before I want to deal with it. It
Yeah.
could be, I'm just going to ride this out and see what happens. But also, something happens in November and then you have to wait to get in. So, what was the most challenging part of that diagnosis process for you?
The by the time I saw my doctor in January, my tremor had gotten really pronounced and it was really visible. So it was embarrassing. I
Sure.
would
Yeah.
like driving at a stoplight. I remember sitting at a stoplight holding my steering wheel and the driver next to me like turning and staring and watching my hand. Um, you know, that kind of thing was
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And when you're going through this kind of thing, it's also your mind swirls. You want to know what the answer is. And not
Yep.
having an answer was the worst thing because something's definitely different. What is it? And I was Googling my symptoms all the time, and that's sometimes the worst thing you can do. So yeah,
Yeah. I'm saying shame on you. Don't do that. But we
yeah.
all do it. But yeah. hmm
So yeah.
Um, okay. Well, yeah, makes sense. Let's say like as you swirl, do you have a tendency to, I think there's two types of people when we swirl. It's going to be bigger than it really is, or you're not even, I say dreaming, but that's not the right word. You're not even thinking big enough. So are you a big scale swirler or are you a small scale swirler?
I'm a big scale swirler. I was swirling big.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's fair. Um, so how did receiving that diagnosis at, a young age, affect your outlook on life and your future?
um, yeah. So I have Parkinson's. The doctor says you have Parkinson's, and I think, well, I've got the Michael J. Fox, condition because he's the only one I really knew that had Parkinson's, right?
Yeah,
But
for sure.
that was not an older person, I should say, because I
Yes.
did care for my grandmother who had Parkinson's, but she was in
Mhm,
her 80s and into the
mhm,
90s.
mhm.
Um, so yeah, it was like, wait a minute, this is odd. I'm too young to have Parkinson's. Well, wait, no, Michael J. Fox had Parkinson's. So wait, that really was that it messed up the mind a little bit. It's kind of like, how, right?
Yeah.
And um, though I was, I have to admit, when the doctor said you've got young onset Parkinson's, I'm like, hey, he thinks I'm young. Hey, that's good, right? There was that, and
Bonus.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I do deal with situations with humor, and so you try and find the humor in things, and so it's like he did call me young, so that's a good thing. So
I mean, that right there is a real positive thing that can help you for several future moments. So, um, talk to me about the emotions that you felt. You received this. I think, there could have been a little disbelief. There could be anger. There could be sadness, all over the board. But talk me through those first 6 months of your own emotions.
boy, you just mentioned a few of them right there. Anger, disillusionment, confusion. Um, there's so many. It truly is a grieving process.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
somebody said to me after a little while, you are grieving the loss of your normal life and the life you were expecting. Your life has now changed, and you have to adapt to that. And I thought that's a really good way to put it, because you go through a cycle of emotions just like you do when you're grieving the loss of a loved one. It cycles, and it's not linear, and it's not predictable. and you just need to go
Hopefully
through it.
spiral.
What's that?
It's an outward spiral.
Yes, yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
hopefully that answers the question, right?
Yeah. How has your mental health evolved from that diagnosis? Because that's hard, like receiving, I don't know your whole life story, but what I would envision if I put myself in your shoes,
Right.
that's got to be one of the most profound days of my life,
Yeah.
hearing that diagnosis and where you started, all those emotions. But how has your mental health evolved?
Again, great question. Here's the thing. Parkinson's is a lack of dopamine in the brain caused by some little proteins that attack the part of your brain, right? In a very high level, that's what it is medically. And so that joyous, happy, achieve the goal, get some dopamine kind of stuff is absent. And so a lot of people with Parkinson's struggle with depression and with down moments. And on top of that, to be dealing with a a grieving situation, it's tough. And I will tell you, I did not always handle it well. There was some dark moments and dark times that some of which I've actually recorded on my social media. There was a night, I think it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't sleep, and I was downstairs on the sofa, and I was crying, and I just recorded what was going on. And that's one thing that's important about both my social media and my podcast is to be authentic and to be genuine. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and it really does. It really was a struggle. It still is a struggle. I won't say was. It's still there,
Oh,
but
yeah, yeah.
it's through the support of people that care. And I mentioned social media. There's an online community of people that are very, very supportive.
Mhm.
The love of my son and my brother that really back me up. But I've also made a point of bringing people into my life and keeping close to me the people that really truly do support me and encourage me and boost me up because everybody needs that. But when you're lacking dopamine, you really need that, and that's
Sure.
how I've gotten through. Yeah.
Yeah. You answered a couple other questions there, so thank you for just going right along. I was going to ask about, specific people and things, but you brought up a point about your social media, and so we're going to skip ahead a little bit. Now you've thrown my notes completely
Oh,
out of
I'm
whack, so
sorry.
I'm
I'm
just
sorry.
no, no, I'm just leaving. Uh, you are an advocate, and I know you've connected with, the social media, but you also are a part of organizations. And I'm fairly certain you have let, your viewers, your listeners know your organizations, but can you quickly tell us about your role in organizations and what that word,
Yeah.
advocacy does for you versus what it's doing for other people?
Oh, you're good.
See?
Uh, so yeah, I'm a volunteer for the Parkinson's Foundation. I have been an ambassador, a hospital safety ambassador. I was on the Southwest Chapter's advisory board for 3 years. That just my term just ended, and I'm also on uh, 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 a board with the Parkinson's Foundation called the PPAC Committee, which is People with Parkinson's Advisory Council. And actually, that is a group that is baked into the charter of the Parkinson's Foundation that they would run all of their decisions and all their primary things through a board of people that have Parkinson's or impacted, so they keep on track with Parkinson's people.
I love
And
that.
then,
I mean, just the awareness to go to the people
yes,
and not make decisions for them, or I mean, not those decisions, but
yeah,
it essentially is, yeah, actually have
exactly.
a representation. Okay, so that's wonderful. But what does being an advocate do for you?
Advocacy is honestly, it's my therapy. Advocacy is what helped me put a purpose to my diagnosis.
Mhm.
And I needed that. I was
Absolutely.
floundering even after I accepted, okay, now I have Parkinson's, but then it becomes why? Why do I have this? That age-old eternal question, why? And there's not always a clear-cut answer, but if I can find something, and being an advocate gave me that something to get out there and to talk about it, to raise awareness. I've actually spoken to people from Congress and testified about the need for help and funding. And with that, there is satisfaction that if I've got this condition, I'm doing something about it. And that helps me sleep at night. That helps me realize like I may have this condition, it may suck, but in the end, I'm doing something about it. So yes, that's a tremendous help for me.
Great. How does Parkinson's affect your career, your professional goals, the other side of life?
Yeah. Um, that's a good question because everybody with Parkinson's experiences it differently. For
Yeah.
me, my personal experience, I don't have a lot of the dramatic movement symptoms that a lot of other people have. I do have a tremor, but I don't have a lot of the other things that like freezing gait and things like that. But my condition, a lot of our internal or non-visible symptoms, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and it's also affected my cognitive abilities. My executive function is not what it used to be. So it definitely affects and impacts the career and where I can go and those types of things. Um, and I knew like the day that I put it on LinkedIn that I have Parkinson's, I knew right there that my career was it was changed. You know,
Mhm.
I can only hide it for so long, right? And then it
Right.
becomes a public awareness thing. But it had to get out there. I had to get it out there.
I mean, vulnerability and strength all at the same time. So you may not like those words. I don't care. Being vulnerable enough to admit it and having the strength to do it are really big things. So good job. However, that brought up a question, and this is not one that I ran by you ahead of time. So there are invisible signs or invisible symptoms of Parkinson's, and then there's visible symptoms. You just said the word invisible. People don't notice it as much. Does that make it harder that they can't see it? Because you don't, I mean, if you have a tremor, you said you didn't want the guy staring at you. So the visible isn't always fun and comfortable.
Right. Um, I yes. I've actually some people within the Parkinson's community have actually said, well, you don't have Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's light because you don't
Yeah,
have
yeah, but I mean, like, there's stigma.
yeah,
I mean, I'm just, my brain is like, honestly, my brain's exploding, going, oh, we've never talked about this. So,
yeah.
yeah,
It's it,
Parkinson's, like, how does that feel? That is that an insult to you,
it,
or
it
is
is.
that,
It's an
yeah,
insult. So you're not
yeah,
experiencing it as bad as I am, which is
oh,
not true.
right,
Because you know somebody may have dyskinesia, which is the uncontrollable movements that come
mm-hmm,
with the use of
mm-hmm,
levodopa. I will probably have it someday because of my use of levodopa. But yeah, it's an insult because some of the symptoms I experience that are non-visible may be 10 times worse than some of the symptoms that other people have. But
yeah.
but you can't rate that. You can't rate
No, you
depression and
can't rate
anxiety
it,
and yeah,
but there is something to be said about a sense of belonging.
yes.
And when you're in a group of people who are dealing with the same thing, but you're not fully accepted, that stings.
Well, and I will say I won't
I
say
mean, you
fully
still
accepted.
belong,
Yes.
but like again, if it's like Parkinson's and it's an insult, and yeah, you still belong. And to be fair, to defend everyone else who would have said that to you, they're also dealing with their own emotions and their own grief and their own right. So
Exactly.
like understandable, but it still makes it hard.
Right.
Fair?
You know, absolutely fair.
Okay.
Absolutely fair. And then that's the thing is most of the community will be like, guys, it's not a contest. You know, we're not out here
Right.
saying I've got it worse than
Yeah.
you, and that is true. But I have received that comment, and but
Yeah.
I know where it's coming from. It's not coming from a place of malice. It's
Right.
part of the humor that we
Yeah.
use to deal with the situation. So
And as long as you have that understanding, that's the most important because, right, anybody can say anything, and how you choose to respond and react is you.
yeah,
So there's
exactly.
that. Um, okay, so what have you learned about yourself since your diagnosis?
Um, my Parkinson's diagnosis and this and some of the circumstances around that same time uh, definitely have humbled me. And humility is not something that I take lightly, and it is something that I needed, frankly. Um, but it's taught me that I am a lot more resilient than I thought.
Mhm.
I remember going through some things and thinking I can't go another day. And then when that next day came, I thought, okay, well, I'm here. And
Yeah.
I remember going to like, well, I guess I am able to get through these things a little bit more than I thought. And that resiliency, that another word I like is tenacity. I believe that there are
Yeah.
some tenacious people in the Parkinson's community. And one of my friends, Mel, has gone through a difficult time on social media. And I think of her as like a little bulldog that like just will not let go because she's
Yeah.
going to hang on for dear life. And I love that. And that tenacity inspires me. So
Great.
I feel that's something I've learned about myself and about others.
Okay. And to kind of back that up, what adjustments have you had to make to maintain independence or even to plan for future maintenance of your own independence?
Um, so future plans, I I now think about things in a much different way. I don't do a lot of the DIY stuff that I used to do, so I don't climb ladders anymore. So I my living situation is different now. I don't want to be in a place that requires work or anything like that, where that's always been a passion of mine in the past. Um,
Mm.
and you
You're
have to exactly,
okay.
and I
Yeah.
also have to keep in mind that my mobility may be difficult in future days. So like a second story house, probably not a good idea. Bring things
Mm.
down to one level. There's
Mhm.
just different practical things that I have to think about because Parkinson's is progressive and
Mhm.
there's no cure at this point.
Sure.
So even though I do have a tattoo on my arm with
Yep.
the International Parkinson symbol and my
Okay.
diagnosis date, and then below that, I'm saving the spot for my cure date because I'm an optimist and I believe that
I
in my
love
life there will
that.
be a cure. So.
I love that. That's that's optimism, absolutely. And dreaming and thinking big. And so you're not stuck. I love that. Um, how has your own sense of identity changed?
Um, Boy, that's a good question because I feel like I belong to the Parkinson's community. I
Yeah.
do. And I've been embraced and because of my public speaking opportunities, I've been able to meet some of the most wonderful people, literally some of the most wonderful people I've met in my life. And some of the top doctors and researchers in the world about Parkinson's. And I feel like I belong. And that's because so many of these people are so kind. And so my personal identity, I mean, identify as part of this community, but individually, I also feel like I'm stronger. I've gone through a lot of things, and as much as Parkinson's sucks, I think my life is better since I've had Parkinson's. Not because I have Parkinson's, but despite the fact I have Parkinson's and the things I've learned about myself and others, I feel like I'm a much stronger and a better person now. I hope that makes
I love
sense.
that. Like literally, you made me tear up because that's those are really good words. So thanks. Um, I I I believe that when people are broken and when they're resilient enough to come out of that brokenness, they are able to operate so differently and help others or impact others or just understand, like, it doesn't even have to be impact, but understand the world um, from a different place. And so hearing you say that is like your brokenness is essentially what's going to make you beautiful
Hmm.
in a different way than
Wow.
what you would have done prior to being broken. Not
Wow.
fun words, but I do believe there's a lot of truth to that.
Wow. That no, that thank you. That's very impactful. I appreciate that.
Welcome. Okay, I've got two more questions, and then we're gonna do a fun little segment. So, talk to us about how do you. There's difficult days if you're dealing with depression, and depression from Parkinson's. That's a different layer of depression. How do you stay hopeful or motivated on the really difficult days?
Hmm. That is a wonderful question. On my LinkedIn profile, on my
Hmm.
background photo, there is a quote from Michael J. Fox that I cling to. And basically, Michael J. Fox said, "With gratitude, optimism is sustainable." And so when I when I get at a point where I'm not so optimistic, I take the time to think and count the things in my life that I have to be thankful for.
Yeah.
And sometimes in the past, it's been a stretch. It's been like, I'm thankful I have coffee, you know, but
Hey.
you find something, right? But I'm at a place now in my life, I have a lot to be thankful for. And
Yeah. That's
uh,
good.
so yeah, it's a wonderful quote. That's why I put it on that LinkedIn profile.
Absolutely. I love that quote as well. And I lied. I had three questions because I missed one.
Okay.
So we're gonna go back. We're gonna back it up a step. Now we're out of order again. So welcome to my world. What advice would you give to someone who is newly diagnosed?
Mm, love that. Do not think your life is over.
Mm.
Your life is you still have a wonderful life to live. It will be different. Allow yourself, number one, allow yourself to grieve. Let yourself go through
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
And find a support group, find support around you, have a community around you. If it's your family, your friends, if it's online, find a support group. The Parkinson's Foundation has a hotline that you can call, and I'll put the number right up here, and I'll also put in the show notes, that people can call. It's already in my show notes. Um, and you can call any part of the country. Where's the support group near me? And they can help you find one. So grieve, accept that, and then allow yourself to be supported by other people, because a lot of us don't want to be supported, but we have to be supported. It's a very important part of the Parkinson's diagnosis process, and then don't read everything about Parkinson's on the internet. Um, there's some
Absolutely.
there's some information that's tailored to newly diagnosed people, both on the Parkinson's Foundation website, on Davis Finney Foundation. Um, Stick to that, and then find people with Parkinson's that can help you walk through this journey, because you'll need that.
Love it. Yeah. I mean, we can all feel really lonely, but knowing that there's a whole other support system is, oof, it's so good. I'm glad. I'm so thankful you have that. Okay. Last question. What goals or dreams are you still pursuing despite your diagnosis?
Um, I still, well, I mean, I still love being a grandfather. I still, I mean, I tell my
Yeah.
son, you don't matter to me anymore. It's my grandson, right? But I mean, being a family man, and
Yeah.
um, I'm still doing my hobbies. I love thrifting. I love restoration projects, and those are good for my hands. The dexterity is good for my hands to be doing those types of things, and so I'm still pursuing, honestly, anything in my life that I've always pursued. I just will adapt and adjust accordingly. As Parkinson's affects me, I will adapt and adjust. But I am going to try and live my life to the fullest, the best that I can, despite Parkinson's, because that's my way of giving a middle finger thumb, middle finger up to Parkinson's. It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
No, you want to stop me? You want to change my life? Maybe my life will be different, but I can still enjoy my life. And dang it, I'm going to do that. I'm committed to that.
Okay, so then I'm going to add one more question because you said a thing. So you said you're going to stick with your same stuff and give that middle finger, which I love. But do you find new doors opening that you could pursue because of this?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Well, like this podcast, I've always wanted to do
Oh yeah.
podcasting, and then
Yeah.
with Parkinson's, came the opportunity to do my first podcast with my BFF, because she had a Parkinson's diagnosis, and
Mm,
with that came some public speaking
yeah.
opportunities, which I absolutely love. And
And you have a great voice for public speaking. Let's just be honest. So
well,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate
I'm gonna send a book to you to like audio record, and then I'll pay you. I want the audio of your voice on a book. I'm not sure what direction we're going yet with that book, but I'll let you know.
I appreciate I will, hey, let's do that. Let's
So
do
any listeners, good audiobook. Just make your recommendations now.
it.
Maybe like it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much. I think what I know of you, you've done a really good job of advocacy, but I've seen um, like your own impact for you. I see hope and I see a future. And I think that's what appreciate the most. And so thank you for allowing me this opportunity to interview you and give your listeners, your viewers, a little bit of that inside piece versus you just being the advocate. Like this, I mean, you are open and you've shared your story, but in a different way. You are always the interviewer, so now you get to be the interviewee. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing it.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that we found out about each other is our love for baseball.
Yes.
So we're going to do a quick rapid fire where I
Okay.
ask questions and you give a very simple answer.
Okay.
Are you
I am.
hot dog or brat?
Brought.
Home run or stolen base?
Good question. Stolen base.
Okay. Also, this is rapid fire. You can't take.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
I'm just kidding. All right. Ready?
Yes.
Day game or night game?
Day game.
Grass field or turf field?
Grass.
Wooden bat or metal bat?
Wooden.
Pitcher's duel or slugfest?
Pitcher's duel.
Double play or diving catch?
Diving catch.
Baseball cap forward or backwards?
Oh, forward.
Favorite ballpark snack?
Brought.
Okay, fair. Favorite baseball movie?
Natural.
Oh, okay. Walk-off hit or strikeout to end the game?
Walk-off hit.
DH or no DH?
No DH.
Favorite Major League Baseball team?
Pittsburgh Pirates.
Favorite player growing up?
Roberto Clemente.
Well, you've already answered a future question. Let me tell you. Old school uniforms or modern designs?
Old school.
Good answer. Long sleeves or short sleeves under the jersey?
Short sleeves.
Sliding head first or feet first?
Head first. Thank you, Pete Rose.
Yes. Pine tar or batting gloves?
Pine tar.
Road trips or home games?
Home games.
Rain delay fun or frustration?
Fun.
My kids play softball and baseball, and we had a horrible working out once, and we took a ball and we put tic-tac-toe on it. And we put the X and we threw it to the other team's dugout. And so we played tic-tac-toe in the rain several rounds on one. We just sacrificed one of the game ball, or not a game ball, one of the practice balls. And
That's
we
hilarious.
sat in those dugouts forever. It was honestly so much fun. So, okay. Country music or hip hop in the locker room to motivate you?
Country.
Okay. Bus ride nap or playlist in your ears?
Playlist. I don't sleep on buses.
Fair enough. Ice bath or stretch session?
Stretch session.
Bat flip or play it cool?
Bad flip.
Fair. All right. Which is more stressful, coaching or playing?
Coaching.
All right. Favorite baseball tradition or superstition?
Eating a specific meal before the game.
Okay. Best baseball nickname you've ever had?
That I've ever had?
Yeah.
Um,
Have you had a baseball? I have no idea. I'm just assuming.
I don't think I've ever had a nickname, so
Okay.
oh, actually, no, in high school, Mike Adams was the center fielder and I was, and so we were the M&M boys. That's true. Because
All
he
right.
batted first and I batted second. So we were the
Yeah.
M&M boys.
Perfect. Okay. If it wasn't baseball, what sport would it be?
Uh, growing up, it was football.
Okay. Fair enough. Give me just a second. All right. Yankees or Dodgers?
Yankees.
Babe Ruth or Hank Aaron?
Hank Aaron.
Jackie Robinson or Roberto Clemente?
Roberto Clemente.
Yeah, you already answered that one. Derek Jeter or Cal Ripken Jr.?
I'm going to go with Derek Jeter.
Ken Griffey Jr. or Barry Bonds?
Oh, I'm going to go Junior. I'm going to Junior.
Otani or Mike Trout?
Oh, Tommy. He's just such a sweet guy. He really is.
I agree. You can't hate him.
Yeah.
If you hate him, there's just something wrong with you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Nolan Ryan or Randy Johnson?
Nolan Ryan.
All right. Fenway Park or Wrigley Field?
I have not been to Fenway, so I'll go with Wrigley.
Can you go wrong with? I've been to both, and I will tell you, I don't know that you can go wrong with either.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. All right. Last question. If you could meet one Hall of Famer, who would it be?
They have to be still alive.
No, I mean, I know what you're going to answer if they're not alive. So, you know what? Past and present. Let's go that.
Okay, past, yes, Roberto Clemente. I
Yeah.
would, yes, absolutely. Um, um, present. Well, okay, this one's more present day, but he's still gone. Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn died way
Oh,
too
yeah.
young. Okay, I'm tearing up. But Tony Gwynn.
Okay, I accept. Excellent. Thank you so much for my rapid fire baseball questions. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Well, that's the end of the questions.
Yeah, that's it. That was
Oh,
we did like 40 rapid fires. It goes so fast you don't
yeah.
even know it. And it's baseball, so you just don't even, you love it. So
I love that. Yes. And our baseball connection is amazing. I love that. It's immediate. So, well, thank you so much for being on today, Kara. And you've been a wonderful addition to the show. And I definitely, well, if it's okay with you, love to plan on having you back on the show in the future because this is
totally.
great. And you have a wonderful voice for podcast, and that would
Thank
be
you.
fantastic. So,
I would love it. It is wonderful. Thank you. Honored that you asked. I appreciate it.
well, guys, thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode. As I mentioned before, guys, I want you guys to subscribe, like, tell people about the show, and don't forget, life is a journey. It's not a destination. So, guys, keep your heads up and stay out there and keep exploring. Take care, guys. God bless, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for joining me on this edition of Mark in the Park, the podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and leave a review. Your support helps more people discover the show. For show notes, updates, and future episodes, or to connect, head over to markinthepark21.com. Got a guest idea or a topic suggestion? Drop me a line at markintheparkpodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. And to all my listeners, this is Mark Milow reminding you, life is as much about the journey as the destination. So enjoy the sights and sounds along the way. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep exploring.